We are live. It means it's that time again. It's Sunday and it's 8 o'clock on KS1 TV and you've tuned into the Transfer Exchange Show. And this week we do have a full squad. I don't even need to say that really anymore because this is going to be the squad from now on. No one's leaving, no transfers here. All signed long-term deals on zero wages. First of all, at the top, let's even this up a little bit. Yeah, mate. We're all on a level. We're all on a level. At the top, we've got the chef. It's Simon Power. How you doing, Simon?
Evening, everyone.
Bottom left, we've got the marksman. It's Jerome Marks. How you doing, Jerome?
Evening. All good, thanks.
And down the bottom, looking his sultry self, giving it the mean, steely-eyed look. It's Steve K, Chief Scout. How you doing, Steve?
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Good evening. All right, we have a packed show, as always. We're going to try and cut it down to an hour because recently, over the past few weeks, we've been cramming in so much news. It's near enough lasted 2 hours. But it just shows how much fun we're having. But today, we're going to be talking about clubs that could potentially be going down still, but the players that can stand in the league. It's called Down But Not Out. And who will be saved from the drop? First of all, we have to go to the team that has already gone. I'm not even religious, but I'm just shout out to my soldiers, Norwich. Already gone down. And we've had news from Daniel Farke, who's turned around and said Norwich will only sell their best players at silly prices. And we also had sporting director Stuart Webber come out and say the bidding starts at 20 million. Who are we going to buy? Who are we going to be saving? No, the bidding starts, as Simon says, that's not bad. The bidding starts. You're the one that gets drawn in to the shops, innit, on sale day when it's like, it could be from £15 up to anything.
And I can stay away from that.
Little words, froms, starting at. So, boys, who would you have from Norwich City? What players would you have?
Max Evans, done.
Yeah, but Si, you was always going to say Max Evans, but
I know.
But like,
I don't know anybody else.
Si, we'll start with you. You're going for Max Aarons. Any clubs that he's been linked with? Why would you save Max Aarons?
Well, there's Newcastle he's been linked with. Obviously, Sheffield United are looking at him. Mm-hmm. Leicester were looking at him as well with that Pereira, because it makes sense with Pereira that's been out, and now you've seen Leicester City just fall basically from that Champions League, and it looks like they could slip out. Mm-hmm. And they've missed him on that right-hand side, so they might look at him as like, you're not our number one right back, but you've gone from Norwich to Leicester. You'll be playing European football, because they are either Champions League or Europa League, in my opinion. So they could just go, right, you're back up to Pereira, but you're also competition. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense if they went for him. It would make sense. And there were Villarreal.
Yeah?
Yeah, Villarreal's looking at him because because Unai Emery looks like to be the new manager of Villarreal. And Unai Emery likes Max Aarons.
Okay, right. That's the first I've heard. So we'll be looking into that, and yeah, I mean, I've not heard the one. Steve, would you be saving Max Aarons? Do you think he's going to be bought by a Premier League team?
Yeah, and I think he'll be bought by quite a fair old Premier League team as well. Someone who's quite high up the table. I've tried to get. It's very difficult when you've got teams at the bottom of the table because where you sort of you become disattached, or should I say, as the season goes on. So basically, what I've done, I mean, I've tried to get in touch with Norwich fan TVs, Bournemouth fan TVs, Aston Villa fan, and what they've heard. the Max Aaron ones that seems to keep coming to mind is for Spurs.
Yeah, that's what I see a lot of.
I forgot about Tottenham.
Yeah, and people keep saying Norwich have said, well, if you want to buy him, you've got to have 30 million. I think he would spit at the Spurs.
Do you think that's a fair
he's
price?
a good
30
player.
million?
Yeah, in this climate, 30 million, young player, good player, definitely potentially top 4, top 6 player. Absolutely, and I think he can he can play for Spurs. We've got Spurs are a good side, and he'd fit in that right back spot. Lovely, 30 million. Yeah, I think that's welfare. I mean, Tottenham will negotiate. They'll probably get him for a bit less than that as well. So
I would
Tottenham
will negotiate. I mean, Levy's a good businessman, isn't he? And if they say 30 million, they'll work out something different, wouldn't they? Who else?
I agree with Simon there.
Who else would you save? Who else would you save, Steve? Give me another one from Norwich that you like the look of.
Well, I like the one I like the look of.
I know you're going to say
he's just a lot. Yeah.
I know you're going to say
Emiliano Bonilla. That's the one.
I knew he was going to say it.
Just Liverpool, Norwich's playmaker.
Yeah.
Norwich's person who makes everything happen. When he plays well, Norwich. It's exactly, he's the one. He's the one who gets all the assists. Yeah. He's the one that they want on the ball all the time. The problem with Norwich, he just hasn't got the players around him. But he's this guy. If anybody hasn't watched him, he's probably, for me, he's the best of the bunch that Norwich have got.
Yeah.
And he's the one who they should be looking at getting the most money for out of all of them, in my opinion. The two clubs that I've seen, Liverpool, which I can, which makes a bit of sense because they could probably get him for maybe 30, 40, and Liverpool, we all know, is a little bit cash strapped. And the other one was Leeds.
Yeah, I've got that as well.
I've heard Leeds are after him. So, he's definitely one I'd be keeping.
Yeah.
Quality player.
Also, another team that's in for him is Valencia looked at him, and Atletico Madrid have said to be looking at him. The Liverpool link makes sense as well because they're going to be losing like Shaqiri. I don't know if they've worked out a deal with Wijnaldum. So it looks like they're starting to potentially lose some of these players that are in and around the squad or first team players that are coming to the end of their contract. So they would be looking for reinforcements, if not this season, next season. Jerome, who would you like to look for at Norwich? Who would you be saving?
You know what? There's a few, like you said. The funny thing about Norwich is that although they're the only team that have gone down so far, in terms of players that I think will stay in the division, they've got the most amount of players out of all of them. So, for example, you've got like the boys have mentioned, obviously so far, but on top of that, you've got Todd Cantwell. You've got Ben Godfrey, centre back. You've got you might think that a Premier League team might snap up Pookie, the centre forward.
I personally think he'll stay only because it's very hard to find yourself a goal scorer in the Championship, especially like to find that player you've got like the wages, the amount, and to find a player that can get you up into the Premier League is very, very tough. Timo Pukki, I just feel like he's one of them that you could probably keep and you've got to guarantee goals there. I just think he was just lost his confidence in the end. Yeah,
no, you're right. He could stay, but he's definitely one of those that a Premier League team could look at.
Yeah.
And then you've also got their left back, a guy called Jamal Lewis.
Yeah.
So the weird thing is with him, though, although I think he could stay in the Prem, is he's actually linked with Stoke because Stoke's manager is Michael O'Neill and he managed him at Northern Ireland.
Yeah. But they're talking about 40 million for Jamal Lewis. So it's a. I mean, any team that's going to be going for him they've got to pay big money.
Yeah, that's a bit OTT, I think.
I know.
Yeah.
And this is what they're saying.
They got a lot of players, haven't they, Norwich? That it's funny how they obviously done so poorly.
Yeah, I mean it's because there are a lot of young players. Steve, what did you think of Todd Cantwell? There's been a lot of talk around him as a player. He's been linked to quite a few clubs like Newcastle, Leicester. Earlier in the season, Man City, Man United, Tottenham expressed interest in him. Is he the real deal? Could he be staying in the Premier League, do you think?
Yeah, I had Sheffield United, Leicester and Newcastle. That the guy told me. So not far out from what you... Todd Cantwell, jury's out for me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he ain't going to make it. He's a decent player. But as for being someone who's going to be in a top 6 side, I'm yet to be convinced.
What is it? What is it about him?
Going by the teams that are in from him at this very moment, I think tells you something. I mean, Sheffield United, Newcastle. I've not heard anything. Recently, there was rumours about Tottenham. But at this moment, they all seem to have died out, and now you're getting sort of the middle of the road club who are looking at Todd Cantwell. But he's only young. He's a good player. He needs to put on a bit of weight. He needs to put on a few pound. He's at Norwich at the moment. I mean, I'll probably be one of these ones that's very similar to Pukey. I think he should. He could even stay. He could even stay another year at Norwich. Norwich can't get if Norwich got rid of Cantwell, Lewis, Aaron, Godfrey, and Emiliano, then they're not coming back up.
You're right.
Because of the rest are very, very, very poor. And they'd be fighting at the bottom of the Championship.
Yeah, you're right. I think they need to be careful. They do need to be careful. You're right. There's a fair few good players, but if you do start losing them players, and I think you're right about Todd Cantwell. Todd Cantwell shouldn't be in a rush to move. No. Another season in the Championship wouldn't do any harm, and a season in the Championship. I think some of these players are in danger of being overpriced over maybe half a season they had, over a group of games that they had. When you're talking about 40 million for players who have been relegated, I think clubs might be tempted to lead that, see them go in the Championship, and then watch their price drop, and then maybe come in for them later on in the season or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Jerome mentioned Ben Godfrey, and I've heard that he's been linked with RB Leipzig and Borussia Dortmund. Now that would be a good move for him, because it seems that the players who go out to Germany, it tends to be like another year of learning out there, and I think that would be a good move if you went to somewhere like Germany.
AC Milan are also looking at him, but the thing is, Norwich have thrown a 50 million price tag on him, and this is what I'm saying about these. And okay, they go to the other end of the scale, so that it kind of so clubs can push it up a bit more, but. 50. When you say 50 million, clubs are just likely to just turn away straight away. It's just. I mean, yeah. It remains to be seen, but I think the likes of Max Aarons you'll probably see in the Premier League next year with Tottenham. They need a right back. It's a story that hasn't gone away, and I think it may be someone they may be pushing to get in the summer. Next up, we've got Aston Villa. Steve. Go on, go first. Who are you having from Aston Villa? Who is getting saved? How many of them are there? Because I don't think there's too many from Villa.
Only two. There's only two.
I think there's only about three.
Well, who's the third? Because obviously it's Grealish and Mings.
Go on, Steve. What you got?
Well, I think there's more than three.
Go on.
I had a long chat with the guy from Birmingham Live. and it was quite an interesting chat, really. He was desperate, the poor bloke. You know, I think.
I know. I bet they are.
With what's going on, and I tell you what, Aston Villa are good fans. You know, they are. You know, they're very knowledgeable. Anyway, Tyrone Mings has been linked apparently with Leicester, Everton, and Newcastle. They want 30 million for him. I think possibly he could stay, but does people want him? I don't. Personally, I think not. Then obviously we've got John McGinn, who's probably one of their best players.
Yeah.
He's been linked with Newcastle, so I've been told.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the main man himself, Mr. Jack Grealish. But apparently the guy told me that Grealish has been knocked back by a lot of clubs in the last month. Apparently Man United have knocked him back. Spurs have knocked him back. This, you know, and that was after Harry Redknapp said to, you know, go and get him because he's a brilliant player. So Jack Grealish seems to be in the sort of like limbo at the minute. I can't really. And then there's Douglas Luiz, who I think's a good player. Then he's I think he's where was he? He was I think City were actually looking at him to buy him back because he came from City.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of others that I think as well, but maybe the boys want to say what they think.
Jerome, who would you save? And just before we go to that, what do you think's putting people off of Jack Grealish?
So I can't really add too many more names than what's already been mentioned. So you Mings, McGinn and Grealish. I think what's putting people off of Grealish is, I think it's simple. It's just the price tag. I think people can see that they can get maybe not as good, but similar level players for probably half the price. I think it's all well and good saying, yeah, we'd like to sign Grealish for 40 million or 45, 50 million. But when it comes to putting your hand in your pocket and actually doing it, that's a totally different thing. Maybe his off the field antics might have put a couple of clubs off as well. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's not as good as he's hyped up to be. I don't know. He's definitely gone a little bit quiet in terms of the whole Grealish thing. I know, obviously, Arsenal been linked with him, but I don't think Arsenal would spend the money on him. And then you've only got a couple of other clubs that would spend your 40, 45 million on him. So, yeah, I think he'll leave, but where? Not too sure.
Wow, what a fall from grace! Grealish was the blue-eyed boy at one stage, and now clubs are knocking him back. Simon, who are you saving from Villa from the drop?
Steve's pretty much named the squad, but I was just picking Mings and probably Grealish. That's it. But with Grealish, I'll stand by what I said ages ago. With Grealish, he ain't getting into a top 4 team. He's not getting in any midfield whatsoever.
Yeah.
He'll get in our midfield because we need an upgrade on Mesut Ozil. But with Dani Ceballos at the minute, the way he's turning it round with Arteta at the minute, seems happier. Seems like he actually likes being at Arsenal. He's always talking with Arteta when the game's played, and he's always basically sat next to him, they're talking and all that. So he looks like he's sort of basically turning his fortune around. Tottenham, I can understand that. Why they don't really need Grealish because they've already got that front three in the midfield. With Grealish, for me, I think Everton, he won't even get in Wolves' midfield.
Not a bad shout though, Everton. It's not a bad shout.
Everton, yeah, Everton, Sheffield, not even Sheffield United. They won't take him. I don't think they'd take him.
For me, it does. It boils down to the perception that he gives off to a lot of people. if you're going to carry yourself like that, then when you are on the pitch, you need to be smashing in goals left, right, and centre, getting assists and getting into the England squad. It seems like he's a little bit away from that. It may have been
He's a massive risk, isn't he? It's just a massive risk.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. Is he going to leave Aston Villa and lose his creature comforts and not be the same player he is at Villa? Will he dip into a new squad and just be a squad player? And a £40 million squad player is something that no one really can afford. So it doesn't surprise me that people are sort of moving away from the Jack Grealish, and it doesn't surprise me that people are more in for the types of John McGinn, who seems to come across as a bit more of an honest sort of player. One thing they may be put off is by the fact that Hibs will be getting a 10% sell-on fee from his sale, which would mean Aston Villa would be asking for a little bit more money, which may potentially put off a few clubs, but I can't see it being too drastic. So I see John McGinn stay in the Premier League. Tyrone Mings 100%. Steve said a few weeks ago Leicester City were interested. It's come out recently saying Everton are interested. So I don't see Tyrone Mings. And plus, when he's on the fringes of the England squad, it'd be silly of him to stay at Villa. Plus Villa need to sell these players. Villa can't afford to sell these players. One thing I have noticed when looking through who could potentially be interested in some of the players coming out of Villa, a lot of it says it's Villa are in talks with clubs to buy this. Villa have open talks with this club to buy this player. Villa have open talks with Trezeguet over a move to Galatasaray. The Tyrone Mings one, they're open to. They've given him a 30 million valuation. So they have to sell because they know that where they were before, taking players in high wages and still big values back into the Championship, it don't work. And if you stay down there for another season, your team could be in administration. Next up, we have Bournemouth, the cherries. I ain't picking many cherries from this tree. I'll tell you that. It's a bit dire down there. I can't lie. Jerome, who are you taking? Who are you saving from Bournemouth, or are they going down with that sinking ship?
Possibly two or three. I think the obvious one is Nathan Ake. Then on top of him, you've also got Callum Wilson. Now I know you mentioned that you need a striker in the Championship to bang the goals in for you, but I think he's been linked with Chelsea in the past, so I definitely think a Premier League team will snap him up. Yeah. You've also got a player there called David Brooks, who hasn't played a lot this season, but is very highly rated. So maybe a team could look at him. But yeah, apart from that, you're struggling really, aren't you? To find other names.
You are. Simon,
you've got Josh King. You've got Jordan Ibe. Mm-hmm. You've got the guy that's on loan from Liverpool who's good at free kicks. What's his name now? I want to say. No, not him.
I'm sorry.
It was at Derby. It was at Derby, weren't it?
Harry Wilson.
You've got him. You've got the goalkeeper. Can't name, but he's very good. Leeds could do with a second goalkeeper. He'd fit in very well at Leeds. That left back that they've got, I forgot his name. See, it's the only thing with Bournemouth. You've got their left back basically, and you've got another midfielder that they have who made an appearance against Tottenham and just basically shut out Sissoko in that game.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably the ones that I would go for. But Bournemouth have got quite a few good players that would go to a Premier League team that's probably next season going to fight for relegation. But it's just, obviously, they're not going to anywhere near a top 10, in my opinion. None of them. But 10 downwards.
I think what Bournemouth have in their favour is not all of their players are on top wages. they've been in the Premiership for a few years now, but I think they've managed it pretty well. They do need Premiership survival, so they would have to get rid of players like Josh King. They would have to get rid of Nathan Ake. There's no choice. That you can't potentially keep 20, 30, 40 million pound players on your books just to save face. You have to get rid of them, otherwise Bournemouth are in trouble. Steve, who are you saving from Bournemouth?
Yeah, I mean, the boys have pretty much, said what I would have thought as well. Nathan Ake, David Brooks. I mean, all these players can go to pretty big clubs as well. Brooks has been linked with Man United. Ake, we know about. We spoke about last week. Harry Wilson, I'm assuming would go back to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Callum Wilson, Newcastle. I've heard. Joshua King. What's he? He was the Norwegian international, and he's been linked with Mulder. So that makes a bit of sense.
Man United wanted him back in January, and that's what he basically said he's leaving at the end of the season because Bournemouth turned down a move for him to go back to United.
Right.
Yeah. So well, he's not been happy since January when they turned down that bid from United.
Yeah, Dominic Solanke. I mean, I don't know what's happened to him. I mean, he's just gone. 1 minute he was up here, and the next minute he just seemed to keep going down and down. I hope he picked.
How did they get 20 million for him?
But do you think a season in the Championship could do him good just to get the feeling of scoring goals? Because he must have forgotten how it feels.
I think a lot of these players that we're naming, probably 80% of them could do with another season in the Championship, if I was to be honest.
Yeah.
Some of, especially the Norwich ones, where they're very young, and they may be getting a bit above their station a little bit too soon.
Yeah.
The only one I had on me that the boys was Philip Billing.
They got for Brighton, didn't they?
They did. Huddersfield, he played for Huddersfield, Danish international. I think in the better side, he'll show what he's worth. I quite like him, Philip
Very
Billing.
Strong,
massive, really big.
Mm.
So I like him. I've not only heard where he goes though. The Bournemouth person I spoke to just was like he was a good player. I think like with the Aston Villa team, I remember Simon said you'd name the whole squad. But I think like when you ask someone, would you think players and this and that, they go through their old teams. They think they're.
They'll probably say everyone's here. You definitely got to go top two only.
That's it, yeah. But yeah, the boys pretty much said them all there.
Yeah, I mean Jordan Ibe is going on a free transfer at the end of the season. Celtic have been sort of monitoring the situation there, which is a bit crazy because I think Jordan Ibe was one of their record transfer fees at one point, which is baffling.
20 million, weren't it? 20 million Liverpool got for him.
Ryan Fraser is going on a free. He's been linked to Tottenham, linked to Arsenal on a free. But it's gone a bit quiet on that front. So I'm guessing maybe Jose Mourinho is doing a bit of a backhander. Keep it quiet. You're in the squad. Other than that, there's not really any links to these players. As Steve was just saying there, yes, there may be good players, but there's no one out there that's really pushing to sort of get these players or speak about these players once they've been relegated. So it could be potentially that Ake leaves and they don't get as much as they want for him, and the same as Josh King. And finally, Watford. Breaking news: they've sacked Nigel Pearson. Mental, absolutely mental. 2 games from the end of the season, and they go and sack their manager, and they're not even in the relegation zone. They were bottom of the league when he took over, and because they lost that game against West Ham, he got the boot. That's the 4th manager in a year. Does anyone feel like they deserve to go down? Sorry, Watford fans, but I really don't rate that. I really, really don't rate that. Simon, who are you saving from Watford?
Not Danny Welbeck, put it that way.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Ismail Assar, definitely.
I was going to say Sarr.
Yeah, definitely. I think Manchester United should go for him as a backup if they don't get Sancho. But we'll come on to that later. I'm trying to think who else is in squad. I don't know names off by heart. Somebody took names. They've got
Ben
a few.
Foster.
They've got
Ben
a few.
Foster.
But
How old's he now, though?
yeah, no. But I'm thinking Ben Foster.
Getting on.
I'm thinking Ben Foster. He's not looking for England anymore. He retired years ago.
Mm.
You just stay. If you're happy, you've got your home. Like, he loves it at Watford. Like, that was the one that he left
Decore.
Watford and then went back. So
Decore, 100%.
It's just
Yeah.
I don't. If I was Ben Foster, I'll be staying. I'll stay.
Yeah.
Funny enough, with Ben Foster, the only team that I found that he was linked to was at Everton again. They keep popping up, but Everton ain't great fan. Jordan Pickford is really poor recently. So it wouldn't be surprised to bring in someone like Foster. You know, to sort of. You know.
Yeah, they really don't like Pickford, do they, at Everton?
No.
Too cocky.
Yeah, I think so.
Too cocky.
Yeah.
Just a bang average goalkeeper. Been living on that. He's been living on that World Cup. That's all he's been doing.
Yeah. People say, he plays for England. People saying, he plays for England. I mean, that ain't no big shakes, is it?
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
but what one thing that England likes to do is hype up their goalkeepers. I mean, a goalkeeper catches a couple of corners, and that's it. Tell you what, mate, should be number one for Man City. Yeah, get rid of him. 60 mil, get rid of him. Get him in from the youth. Calm down. Like Dean Henderson, he's a very good goalkeeper for United. Is he Man United number one? I
think he could be.
Yeah, but it's a could be. We don't. Man United here never done a could be, and especially when it was for a goalkeeper, it's a definite. It has to be a definite, and if they're not, they're gone. And that's what it was always at Man United. Man United, they brought in a new goalkeeper. Oh, you're rubbish for a game. Gone. Oh, you're rubbish for 2 games.
Could he play in the Premiership? Could he play in the Premiership again, Ben Foster?
I think he could. I like Ben Foster. I think he's a very good goalkeeper. It's just from what I remember hearing previously, his head went a little bit when he moved away from home. Like, he loves it in London. It's his place. It's his comfort. I think that's why he went back to Watford, because he just wanted to sort of go somewhere where it was just like, do you know what? I've done everything I need to do. I'm not going to win Champions Leagues. Let's just go where I'm happy. And I think that's why he went back to Watford.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what Troy Deeney is going to do, because he's considered a legend there, isn't he?
Yeah.
You stay. For me,
I think he stay.
Is it a Vardy and Leicester?
No, it's not even.
Does he sign a new deal?
Troy Deeney, the relationship with Troy Deeney and Watford is a bit different. He stays. He stays. For me, there's no question about it. He stays. Jerome, who are you saving from Watford?
So I'll tell you who I would save is Gerard Deulofeu. He's definitely Premiership quality.
Yeah,
I can't see him playing in the Championship. So I think if they go down, he's definitely, or maybe not the Premiership, but he would play in a top league in another country.
Mm-hmm.
He's maybe the standout one, as well as Decore and Sarr.
Also on there is Roberto Pereira. He made it clear in January that he wants to leave at the end of the season. I mean, the geezer's got pedigree, and you could tell he's just one of them players. He may not be consistent every week, but he's just one of them players that you can tell when he's on the ball, his movement, his energy, his technique. Certain players didn't kind of fit at Watford because of their surroundings, and Sarr, Pereira, they're two players that don't quite fit because the level that's around them. I don't know whether that's what the coach was doing. I think you can't go through 4 managers in 1 year and expect to survive in the Premier League or have any sort of continuity or consistency. The club's just a bit of a mess, if I'm honest. And that is our roundup of down but not out. Quite a few players saved there. Quite a bit of value on some of them. I'm sure we'll be seeing plenty of them in the Premier League next season. Now it's time for the promotion hopefuls. Leeds have just been promoted to the Premier League. Leeds! Super Leeds!
Congratulations.
Super Leeds, one of the giants. I think everyone's... I don't know how you can't like Leeds. Like, it's gone past the days where they knocked Arsenal out of Champions League. But Leeds, even back then, when they had that team, it was like a team of mavericks. Mark Viduka, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Like, even before that, Tony Yeboah. Like, Ian Hart with his free kicks. Like, they were a quality team. A quality team. And now they're back in
the Premier League on that final day.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that.
Get back to Championship. No, but I must admit though, as a Northern lad, right, from Sheffield, I'm happy they're back in the Premier League. It's took them 16 to 20 years, but they're back in Premier League. They are where they belong. Yeah,
they are. If you build up that club, it's odd. You can't have a League One club with a 40,000 seater stadium. Like it's weird.
They've got the players, they've got the manager, they've got the board, and they've got half of PSG's owners wanting to invest money into them.
And they've got the manager. Bielsa is the man that is making.
You are good.
He's making them tick. And if anyone doubts that they could do it in the Premier League, just rewatch that game against Arsenal in the FA Cup.
Oh God!
Who was the better team? Leeds. If it weren't for the fact that they had Patrick Bamford up top, who couldn't hit a barn door, then they would have won that game. Start with you, Jerome. Jerome. Who has Leeds been linked with any players? Anyone you feel the position they need to be getting in?
Well, in terms of names, people that we'd have heard of, I've seen that they've been linked with Claudio Bravo, who's going to be a free agent in the summer. Man City, league.
Okay.
So I've seen that doing the rounds. They've also got a couple of players on loan this season who might join up with them again next season. There's a guy on loan called Jack Harrison from Man City, and he's already agreed to stay next season on loan.
Okay.
And then the guy called Ben White from Brighton, who's on loan, who they want to try and sign up again next season. But they're the names that I've seen who they've been linked with. Bravo would be a strange one, I think, because he's so close to the end of his career. I'm not too sure about that one. Obviously, wealth of experience.
Yeah, I've heard from a Leeds fan myself that they're not happy with the goalkeepers they've had over the last couple of seasons. That's been one area where they've needed to sort of look into. Yeah. Maybe a Claudio Bravo is the man, especially when you're gonna be playing Bielsa will want to be playing a lot more out of the box, even more so than in the Championship. It makes sense. A free transfer, a goalkeeper. They've had goalkeeper troubles, so I think you possibly could be seeing that one. Steve, who have you seen that Leeds could be potentially bringing in?
I've seen Danny Welbeck linked to Leeds.
What? Yeah.
Yep. Yes, Danny Welbeck's been linked.
Mate, I think that would be a good signing.
I think he'd be a fantastic signing. I've seen, obviously, Emiliano Buendia has been linked, as we spoke about earlier. And at last, and I'm so pleased for him, he's actually been linked to a club. is Adam Lallana has been linked to Leeds.
Oh, I've not seen that one. Good spot there.
Yeah, but they've got some really good players at Leeds. Jerome's already mentioned one. Ben White, on loan from Brighton, 17 clean sheets this season. And I mean, we all know the quality and the class of Calvin Phillips. I can't wait to see him in the Premiership next season. Quality footballer. He's their rock in the centre of the midfield there. He ain't got no weaknesses. Definitely a Premiership star in the making for me. And then there's Luke Ayling, another good Leeds player.
Oh, very good centre back.
Excellent.
Very good.
And he's a very similar to an Ozan Kabak centre back because he likes to pop up with his goals and his assists. He could do it all. But those are the three players that I was seeing with been linked. But I'm very excited to see Calvin Phillips next season.
Who
in the
actually turned down
Premiership.
a move to Villa. He turned down a move to Villa at the end of last season, so he could have
He's
already
better
been
than
playing in
that.
the Premier League. But he turned
Yeah, I
it
think
down
he's better than Villa.
because he believed in the project at Leeds. Simon, have you seen anyone else that's been linked with Leeds?
Yes, I have, and none of you have said what I've got because this is an exclusive, proper exclusive. This is bigger than the Celtic striker that I told you about.
Odsonne Edouard, come on, hit me with your rhythm stick.
Leeds have been in touch with this player and his representatives, and I know this firsthand because the person I've been speaking to is very close to the player. And Leeds are literally going to sign James Milner.
Yeah, there have been rumours about. So are you confirming them rumours are true?
Yep.
So the initial rumour, I'll throw a bit of backstory into it. The initial rumour came about, which you'll probably hear these kind of stories that go around all the time, where it's like, so-and-so said, will he do it? Like, for instance, the David Luiz deal, where it's coming up at the end of his contract at Arsenal, and then he turned around and said he wanted to end his career at Benfica. Then stories came out that potentially said David Luiz, after his Arsenal contract's run out, could end his career at Benfica. This is the same with James Milner. He said he's always wanted to finish his career at Leeds. And Simon, you're saying that it's actually true. They've had talks.
Yeah, they've had talks with Milner and his reps, and even Liverpool have given the green light for him to go if he wants to. They've also been in touch with Arsenal, and they've also been in touch with Rob Holding.
Oh, well, I hope not.
Yeah, they've also been in touch with Rob Holding.
Who seems to have turned it a little bit around at Arsenal. So I mean, that'd be a good signing. One, Steve, you can help me out here. One player who Leeds have actually had talks with, and Brentford, is Yassir Larkery, the guy you spoke about last week in the Golden Boy. Your left back from Liverpool.
Oh right.
Yeah, he's
right. Yes, I didn't. That'd be.
Yes, he's held talks with Leeds and Brentford over a potential move, and he's going to make his decision at the end of the season. So it looks like this young hopeful has had enough of being on the fringes of Liverpool. He's got his debut in January, and he wants first team football. So good luck to him. So you will be seeing him in the Premier League next season. Steve, can you give a little reminder what he's about? Yeah.
He's just say the only weakness he's got is his crossing because he's very big. But going forwards and attacking left back, excellent tackle of the ball, very strong, score goals, good with his assists, which you can see why he's at Liverpool, and he's not that far off from, he will be challenging Andy Robertson very soon, but he's not going to get in there at the moment. And I know, Kieran, you did say last week that the best thing forward with him would be to go out on loan. So Yeah, so it's a great shout there. But as I say, his only weakness is really is his crossing. He's very young. It's a fantastic. If they can get him, it would be a very good buy for him and for him. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. So next up, we've got West Brom. West Brom are on the brink, but they're messing it up. And then we've got Brentford just behind. They're also messing it up. They're all also messing it up. But there's only one more spot for that automatic. Who's going to get it? It doesn't matter. Because out of the two of these teams, we're going to have a little look to see who else they're linked with. We'll start off with West Brom. I know there ain't too many. But we'll start off with West Brom. We'll start off with West Brom. What you got for me, Jerome?
I think the chef's been linked with West Brom. So, yeah, you are right. Not many names. One name I've seen linked is Stephen Fletcher from Sheffield Wednesday, the striker. He's been linked with them. Yeah.
They buy him back for the Championship again?
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, Stephen Fletcher, but bloody hell, mate.
Yeah, out of all the teams that are going to get promoted, I think Leeds are probably the only one that you can see making some really solid, like maybe marquee signings. The others, I think they'll probably be linked with players that are maybe already in the Championship. So West Brom are linked with a guy called Anthony Robinson, who's at Wigan, a Wigan defender, who West Ham also linked with. But in terms of sort of names that like everyone's heard of, I don't think there's going to be too many of them.
Yeah, I don't think. I think these clubs might be a bit cautious.
Yeah, unless the boys have heard something that I haven't.
Yes. Go on, Steve. What are you saying?
No, I say with Jerome, I find it very difficult to find anything on West Brom. I mean, the only player that I found was linked to him was Jared Bowen. Which would be an incredible signing for him because I think the geezer's top class. But I can't see West Ham getting rid of him, so I just sort of raised my eyebrows and just really forgot about it. The West Bromwich Albion, I think he's one of the teams that you look at and you think they could come straight back down again. I had to look through their squad, and it wasn't too much that stood out. I mean, there was Semier, Jaya, the centre back of West Brom, who I think is top class. I mean, our Cardiff let that bloke go was just unbelievable. I can't work that out. And in the midfield, Matthias Piera, who's just total quality. I mean, he's like the Mr. Assists in the middle of the park. And if they didn't have him, I don't think they'd be going up. As for like who can, I mean, Fulham could easily pip them, couldn't they? They seem to be the team in form at the moment. But no, that's all I got on West Brom.
No, there's not much out. There's not much out there. Simon, who have you seen? Have you seen anyone that they've been linked with?
I don't think West Brom are coming up.
Yeah, you think they're going to mess it up?
Yep, I think they're going to go to playoffs and they're going out because I think Brentford will take that second spot because they've got Barnsley away, basically. And I think with Barnsley, bottom at Championship, can't even buy a win, never mind buy a goal. They'll cruise through that. And I think West Brom will slip up against QPR. That's what I think. I've not looked at many of their players. I've looked at a few. There's the two centre-backs that Newcastle have been looking at. Newcastle's looked at both of their centre-backs. And they've also looked at the number 10. I'm trying to remember names.
Is this not a club that's looking to be taken over and then looking at?
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought.
Applying their trade in struggling to get in automatic spot in the Championship. I mean, I'm just confused by the links that are happening with Newcastle. It just makes me feel like that the takeover's not even going to happen. Because some of the links that they've been thrown around with Newcastle players, I mean, I know they had to be humble with some of their buys, but there's just it's ludicrous. Some of the players that have been earmarked. Caelan Grant as Huddersfield. He scored 16 goals this season. He's been linked with West Bromwich Albion. If they go up, it wouldn't be a bad signing. He scored goals when he was in the Prem. He's got good attributes. He's not a bad player. Josh Cullen of West Ham's another player they've been linked with, and it's few and far between. With Brentford, I think their main goal is to keep hold of Said Ben Rama. If there's one Championship player that a lot of Premiership fans know, it's this guy. Even if it's just highlights they've seen. Crafty, skillful, quick, can score goals. I think he's got 17 goals this season from the wing. He's been outstanding. But again, I feel like this is a club that are in there for a good time, not a long time. Because I'm just seeing no links, unless any of you guys have seen anything linked with Brentford.
Well, our old friend, Mr. Ivan Toney, seems to be linked with him over the last couple of days.
Oh yeah.
I've yet to find out of the person who's I'd normally talk to about Ivan Toney yet. So, but he's been linked. I'm not taking it as much because they've already got Ollie Watkins. Who's smashing it for Brentford at the moment, who's leading the goal scoring charge. I think he's got 22 goals this season, and I can easily see him continuing that, banging it in the net in the Premiership. So my thing on Ivan Toney going to Brentford is a bit like that. But as you say, the only other one, Sideberry, they're like a bit of a Bournemouth, aren't they, Brentford?
Yeah.
You know, they remind me of a bit of a Bournemouth. They could be in the Premiership for a long while, or they could go straight back down like a Norwich. But they play good football, and I'd like to see him, you know, maybe have a little run in the Premiership.
I think with Brentford, they're a team, like you said, they play very good football. They're very good at recruiting. Very good. What you'll find with Brentford is if you go through their team and look for the background of their players. De Silva came from Arsenal, central midfielder, defensive midfielder. He's actually banged in 9 goals and got about 4 or 5 assists this season as a central midfielder. Quality. Ben Rama, he came from Rennes. Like it was a very solid academy, coming out with the likes of Camavinga and other players like that. So and Sarr. So these players come from good backgrounds. They do their research. They've got good scouts, not as good as ours, but they find quality from players who may not be coming through at that club. I mean, they were after they put in a £7 million bid for Florent Balogun. And anyone that's has heard of him in amongst the background of the youth ranks at Arsenal, they know that he's a highly regarded player at that level, and they've felt that they can take the risk on that. So they know what they're going for, and you might see a few surprise gems if Brentford are to go up. Next up, it's the Golden Boy. It's the Golden Boy. It's our 3 picks each. We're going to have a little chat. We're going to see where they're at. We're going to see how the progression's going and whether there's any transfer links. Simon, we'll start with you. What you got for me this week?
I've got Thomas Travers. Is it Travellers? Sorry if I butchered name. I need to get used to reading names out. The guy from Benfica, defender. Very, very highly recommended at Benfica. Has been compared to the likes of David Luiz, which is kind of, you can get where that's coming from with David Luiz and Benfica. Really good player, actually. Really good player. Fantastic awareness, organisation. Whenever playing a back 3 or a back 5. When it comes to corners and set pieces, organising players, telling them where to go, even goalkeeper as well, telling goalkeeper where to go. Can bring the ball out from the back, loft it over the top for strikers to run onto. Has actually got decent link-up play as well. Very good at tracking back and doing last-ditch tackles. That's one of his specialities, what Benfica rate him for. And people related for transfers, 0.
No.
Just built him up and he's got nothing.
But mate, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. When we're going through the Golden Boys, you've got to understand that a lot of these clubs will be signing up these players on long-term extensions because they want to keep hold of them. They don't want to sell, and clubs will know they don't want to sell. Who did you have next?
I had the where was it? Midfield. I got the midfielder from Shakhtar Donetsk. Tete. Tilly or something.
T.
Yeah, TT or something like that. I got him basically, and he's being compared to the next Fred. So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but
I mean, Fred's got a lot better. Fred, to be fair, Fred's got a lot better.
He has actually.
Yes, he's doing well. Doing well at Man United.
But he's a very good midfielder. Fantastic at holding the ball up. Very good at link-up play. Very good at organising the midfield. Strong in midfield. A bit weak when it comes to trying to read the game. He's always wanting to get forward. He don't get back and help as much as he should. And his manager's been on him for that this season. And there's been a slight little bit of improvement. He's had 5 red cards this season. But that's from last-ditch tackles, trying to stop the opponents and trying to do professional fouls and stuff. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is basically for him. Shakhtar rate him. They do rate him. Say that when Fred left, they thought that it were going to be ages until they found a replacement, and then this kid's come out of nowhere. So they've got him now, and he's kind of doing what Fred used to do. So yeah, I'd probably... And there's not really been much links into that one. I mean, there's Atletico Madrid were linked to him. I don't know if he'd be a replacement for Partey, if it happens. And the other one was... is it Tre Sports or something like that, Turkish team?
Yeah, Tre Sport.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's all I got for him, basically. And then the last one is Thiago Lopez.
Oh, you pronounced that right?
Did I?
Yeah.
Exclusive. I'm getting better.
Simon pronounced his one right.
Yeah. Where's the bell? Ding, 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 ding.
I've got no chance with the team that he plays for. Gee, you might have to help us out with that one. Bloody hell. Dislapio.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Oh, is that the Russian team? Was it Ukraine?
Ukraine,
yeah.
Yeah, Ukraine.
Yeah.
And he's on loan at the minute, though, to Is it Shanghai? He's on loan there at the minute.
Oh, is it in China?
Yeah, he's on loan there until end of season. Basically, with him, I don't know how this guy's actually in Golden Boy, to be honest, because there's not really much about him. Honestly, there's not really much about him.
Just go, what's that? Oh, crap.
Just get rid of him.
Yeah, just try and ring up the Golden Boy. This Diego Lopez, mate. Nah. Yeah. Get him off the list.
It's come from Ukraine on loan to China, but it's that Golden Boy. Fair play to him. Fair play, whatever he's doing. But yeah, last-ditch tackles, he's not very good at. He's been sent off on 4 occasions. He's had a bust-up with referee. That was on loan in Chinese league. That made newspapers and everything. And yeah, and not really much of a team player. Likes to just do things himself. You don't organise the defence very well as well, and he thinks he thinks he's better than what he is. So I can see why he's made the Golden Boy.
Absolute glowing reference from the chef. I expect nothing less. Jerome, what you got for me?
So I don't think it's going to be in Simon's best 11, is he?
No, I don't think it's
That's
going to
for
be.
sure.
We did the best 11 of Golden Boy. I don't think Simon's picking him. Go on, Jerome.
I think he's got a shout.
Right. So we've got 3 Traores for you tonight. 3 Traores. Two are brothers. The first one is a young player called Amad Traore, who plays for Atalanta in Italy. Now, he's a very tricky winger. He's only just turned 18. It was his 18th birthday last week.
Happy birthday, Ahmad.
That's it. Happy birthday if you're watching. Now, he was the first player born in 2002 to score in Serie A. Serie A, the first player.
Yep.
Now, he's because of how highly he's rated, he's been linked with all your top clubs in Europe. But he's only just broken into the team. He's only had a few appearances this season. But yeah, he's a name to remember.
He's a top player.
Yeah.
Silky. And his debut goal against Udinese was an absolute rifle of a goal.
Yeah. So next up is his brother, Hamed Jr. Traore. He's a bit older. He's 20. He's a midfielder who plays for a team called Sassuolo. He's on loan from Empoli. Now he is a proper modern day box to box, driving through the midfield type of midfielder. Now he was actually supposed to join Fiorentina, but they had a bit of problem sort of submitting the contract, so the move fell through. He's been linked with Juventus. I think a lot of anyone that plays in Italy that's half decent, they get linked to Juventus, don't they? That's the go-to club.
It is.
Very very tidy. Another top player, and the final Traore for tonight. I don't think he's related to the other two. The other two are from the Ivory Coast. Now, I think this is a first for the transfer exchange show, and I'll tell you for why. This has got to be the first player we've ever spoken about that comes from Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who was the last player that that come from Burkina Faso?
What's Burkina Faso?
It's a country, Simon. Good start.
It's a country.
What is it?
This is Lassina Traore. He plays for Ajax. Again, just broke into the team this season. Now he was playing in South Africa for Ajax's Ajax is the parent team of this company that he was playing for. Yeah, in Cape Town. Now, funny story. Mark Overmars saw this guy play. Mark Overmars being one of the technical directors at Ajax, and when he saw him, he thought that he was too fat. He thought that he was carrying a bit too much timber.
Fat shaming.
Yeah, but he's been likened to sort of Romelu Lukaku the way he plays. Now he's one of these players. When we ask ourselves, who's he been linked with, he sees his future with Ajax. He's got quite he's got his head screwed on. He's been known to have quite a good attitude, and even if any team's linked with him, he says no. For the moment, I'm staying with Ajax. So hopefully he'll stay there. Establish himself in the team, and then who knows in a few years. But for the time being, he's saying he's going to stay with Ajax.
All right, thank you very much, Jerome. I was gripped on that one. 2 players that I know.
Yeah.
The Traore brothers, they are very, very good players. Please, people, go and take them in. They're ballers. Ahmed Traore's a winger. Just. Once you see him, you'll want him. And then his brother in the middle is just a little beast. Just runs around, scores goals, tackles. You'll know about him in a few seasons. If I was any other team, I'd be trying to snap both of them up. Steve, what you got for me today?
You've been very kind to me this week, haven't you?
Why? What does it give you?
Dusan Balovic.
Go on.
You've given me Yuri Vertonghen, and you've given me, I just have to go when I say this person. Vinicius Junior,
Vinicius
Jose
Junior.
Pastios de Oliveira Juria, to give his full name. We'll leave him to last. First one, Dusan Balavic, plays for Fiorentina, 20-year-old from Serbia, centre forward. He was bought from Partizan Belgrade in 2016. He's been looked at in the past by Arsenal and Juventus. There's no links to him going anywhere because the kid has just signed a new 5-year contract. Balavic is a excellent finisher, powerful, brushes off defenders easily, steely determination to win every game, every tackle. Probably gets it from where he comes from, Serbia. I mean, they don't mess about, do they? Always found doing his fair share of defensive work, duties, and just a goal scoring machine. He's 20 years old. Fiorentina whacked a 5 years contract on him. I'm surprised, no disrespect to Fiorentina, that he's not playing for a better, bigger club. But he's definitely one to look out for the future. Dusan Vlahovic, top player, really good player. If you go and have a look at him, you'll understand why I'm so excited by him. The next one is Yuri Vertonghen. He's at Anderlecht at the moment. He's a 19-year-old from Belgium. He is attacking midfielder. He looks a bit like Julian Draxler, a bit of a lookalike. But man, what a beautiful footballer. He just glides across the pitch, close control, vision. He loves the turning and the twisting. You've got 3 players around him. He's in and out, and he's gone. He has all the attributes to, that what it's going to take to him to succeed as a top midfield player. Yari, he has the lot, and he's certain for big things without any such shadow of a doubt. It won't be long before a big club comes and snaps him up. Tipped by many to be a future Ballon d'Or winner. So that's how highly this kid is looked at.
So people, when you hear his name, and you hear that the club's gone in for him, your club's gone in for him, don't go, who's this geezer?
No.
Who's this fella?
No,
unless you get my defender, then fair enough. I've been stuffed up this week, haven't I?
He is tipped as a future Ballon d'Or winner by many top people in the game. Yuri Vertonghen. Again, I've been a bit blessed this week. Please go and have a look at those 2 players. They're top draw. And the final one, if Yuri Vertonghen was this one's double R. People might already know him. I'm not going to go through the name again because I've done so well pronouncing it the first time.
Yeah, I thought he was one of the commentators, Steve.
Yeah, but I'll cock it up the second time, so I'm staying away from it. I just stick at Vinicius Junior. 20 years old, Real Madrid, centre forward, and play left wing, sometimes right wing. Already at 20 years old, he's had 88 games in his career already. 16 goals at 20. This is Real Madrid, remember. He made his first appearance. He's already made his first appearance for the Brazilian national side, and recently, it just shows you how highly this guy is thought of. That recently, Madrid have just signed him up until 2025 to a massive contract. They certainly won't be doing that with Gareth Bale next contract. He was bought from Flamengo for an eye-catching at 18 years old, an eye-catching £40 million at 18 years old from Flamingo are pretty much unheard of, really. Especially from Brazil. I'm talking about, it's done in other countries. A footballing genius. He plays with a smile on his face. You'll love watching him. Electric pace, incredibly quick, fast feet, scores goals. As I say, plenty of assists. This kid could be Real Madrid's Neymar. Yeah, he could be Real Madrid's Neymar in the future. He's literally got the world at his feet, literally.
This is why they paid the 40 million for him, Steve. This is why they paid the 40 million for him, because they lost out on Neymar last time because they dilly-dallied on the amount that Santos wanted. I think it's that Santos wanted, and they dilly-dallied on it. And because of that, they lost out on Neymar, and they are ruining it to this day. That's why they went out and bought Rodrigo, Rainier Jr., and Vinicius Jr. And I tell you what, when they get linked with other strikers or other wingers or other attacking midfielders, I just think to myself, what's the point? Just build a team around these three and you will absolutely devastate for the next 10 years. They are unbelievable, these three. And the combination, the fact that they're Brazilian, they know each other, they played with each other in Youth World Cups already, is more than you need to know. Boys, well done again. Golden Boy Awards. Still got plenty more to go through. It's now time for what everyone's been waiting for. You've been waiting 1 hour and 11 minutes, and if you're here, you're in for a treat, because we've got a couple of exclusives for you as well. It is the transfer roundup. And here I need like a stopwatch. Doop, doop, beep. We've got Petr Cech may have found Chelsea's new number one. Trabzonspor's 24-year-old goalkeeper Yugen Kaker, and they're saying he's going to cost around £30 million. We're going to look into it, because £30 million for a goalkeeper at Trabzonspor in Turkey seems a bit much. So that could be just paper talk, but I do honestly feel that there is something in it. Petr Cech scouted him, and they don't rate Kepa, so there's something in it. No. West Brom want to sign winger Gardy Dingana on a permanent basis. He's currently on loan from West Ham, but there's also facing competition from Scottish giant Celtic. Mason Greenwood has just signed. Mason Greenwood has been offered a new long-term deal. 40 grand a week is in the papers. But Simon, I think you were saying the length of the contract.
Yeah, the person I've been speaking to is the same person that I spoke to about Jadon Sancho. And when everyone was saying there's only Man United in for him, only Man U are in for him, it's just Man United that want to sign him. And then Duncan Castles on the transfer window actually came out and said different and agreed with what I was talking about. But this person's told me that Mason Greenwood is going to sign a 6-year contract on 40k a week, which for me is the end of Jadon Sancho to Manchester United. Because if you've got Mason Greenwood on that right, Rashford up top and Martial there, where's Sancho going to play? So, and I said to this person anything about Sancho or anything like that, and he goes, he's now closer to signing a 2-year extension with Borussia Dortmund and staying there for another season, so they can sell him next summer in 2021, when obviously the pandemic, more teams should have more revenue there. There'll be a bidding war for this kid next summer. That's what I've been told.
All right. So, quick question off of the back of that. Steve, would you still sign Jadon Sancho even if you gave Mason Greenwood a new 6-year deal?
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Right. Wait, I'll come back to you. Jerome, would you still sign Jadon Sancho if you just given Mason Greenwood a new 6-year deal?
Yeah, all day long.
It baffles me as to why there would be potentially an if or and it's not just what you've said there, Simon. I've heard it a lot in the press, a lot on any sort of TV show from fans. is that talk of you've just got Mason Greenwood. He's in tremendous form. Why would you now go and sign Jadon Sancho? He's going to block the path of Mason Greenwood. Ludicrous. Nonsense talk.
Competition.
If Manchester United want to be at the top of the table, if Man United don't want to be eating the crumbs in the Europa League anymore, they need to be forgetting about Mason Greenwood in 4 years' time is going to be one of the best strikers in the Premier League. They need to be looking for now. They need to be looking. They've got these players coming through. They've got the youngsters coming through. But if you just put them straight there, then you've got to wait another 3-4 years until they're at that point. Marcus Rashford 3 or 4 years ago was in the same position that Mason Greenwood was in now. Would he have been in that starting spot week in, week out? No, they had Lukaku in that time. There's other people in there fighting for his position. And yeah, there was talk. He's not happy. He wants more game time. But you've got to bide your time as a youngster. You can't just expect to come into the team. That's the problem with some of the attitudes you get with some of these youngsters, where they expect it. Oh, I've scored a couple of goals. I expect to. I need to be playing. I'm not saying that's what Mason Green was saying, but that seems to be the general wording from fans now, which is madness. Madness. Steve,
I think on a similar thing, we could think like, if we all of a sudden like signed Martinelli up on a 5-year contract, and we were the ones that was into Jadon Sancho, would we expect to stop to buy him?
I would lose it if you turn around and said,
"Nah, lose your rag,
just signed up Martinelli on a 6-year deal. Forget that 120 we're going to spend on Sancho. It's staying in the bank. It's nice and safe up there." Jerome, would you be fuming if Arsenal turned around and said, after we sign Martinelli, we're not going to bother with Sancho?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, especially if Greenwood could potentially play down the middle anyway.
Exactly.
So yeah, and you need if you're going to have sort of competition in different places, they're the sorts of positions that you want the competition in the attacking areas.
Exactly.
Especially with the amount of games that are being played, European football, to have those two quality players in that sort of position, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I personally think it would be a bad idea and a bad move for Man United to dismiss any talk of Jadon Sancho purely for the fact that Mason Greenwood is looking good at the moment, because anything could happen between now and I'm sure he will be a great player, Mason Greenwood, but foolish tactics. Man City have been linked with David Alaba and Ferran Torres. Steve, you confirmed the other day that the Ferran Torres talk is true.
Ferran Torres is 100% true. From the person I speak to in Manchester, who obviously works for a very, very, very big publication. And yeah, Ferran Torres is 100%. Not acting, but the talks are ongoing, and it is true.
Yeah, they're in talks. Man City are essentially trying to work out a deal. They want 80 million. They're not going to get 80 million. He's got a year left on his contract. So you can't ask for 80 million, no matter how good this youngster is. He will be in the top 10 of the Golden Boy Awards, I think, personally.
Yeah.
But I can't see you getting 80 million for any player that's got a year left on their contract. So expect him to see it be the replacement for Leroy Sané, which means if they do get him in, it means that the link with Leon Bailey to Everton should be a bit stronger. So that should play more in Everton fans' favour.
Yeah. I put my head on the line. I had to put my head on the line asking that question, because he's the same guy asked, obviously, about the Pierre Orbach question, who shouted at me. So it was a bit of a...
Steve asked if the Pierre-Emile Højbjerg link to Man City was true, and he got told off.
Yeah,
in terms of, would we be bringing that player to our team? Like, he was told off. He was told off.
Yeah. Yeah. The Ferensaurus one was a bit more easier. I got.
Ghana Soccer posted the other day that Thomas Partey will make a dramatic U-turn in the light of Arsenal losing one game in 7 and sign a contract extension from Atletico Madrid. We did a little bit of digging in that because that's what we do. We post the stories, then we dig into it. We dig it. We dig. What do we find? Nothing. Nothing in Spain that said that the story was true.
No.
We reached out to our people in Ghana. They were still confident that Thomas Partey was coming to Arsenal. Anything can happen still, but a little update on the Thomas Partey story is it's still exactly the same. And I wouldn't expect anything to change or his decision to change until after maybe the Champions League final or the end of the season. Like I said, players are a lot more respectful than what people think. And to you, it might be a case of, when's the deal going to get done? Yeah, I don't care, just get it done. But if the guy's genuinely looking to win the Champions League with the current team that he's at, the chances are he's not going to talk about a transfer to another club. So use your noddle there, people. Edwin Ghazi, the guy who actually said that Thomas Partey was on his way to Arsenal, is completed a move to Beşiktaş, Turkish side Beşiktaş. Very good winger, very tricky, will score goals. And we're hopefully going to get an update from him and our guy Samuel in Ghana, or in Turkey, in the next few days. Borders are shut, coronavirus and all that. But we should be getting an update on the Thomas Partey saga in the next couple of days. Victor Osimhen's deal with Napoli has been delayed due to agents' compensation. Since then, he's got rid of his agents, got a new agent. The stories will tell you that the deal to Napoli is over and people could potentially jump in and these things could happen. But that's not the case. He got rid of his agent because his agent was asking for too much money or wasn't happy with the money that was given or whatever the conversation. So he got in a new agent. So they're going to thrash out the deal with a new agent. I can't see it swapping anywhere else. The stories are not that dramatic, people. The papers like you to think it's dramatic U-turns and he's changing and he's going to another team. No, it's not. He's got rid of his agent, got in a new agent. The deal's going through. Roma are in the best position to sign Jean-Claire Tebo from Barcelona with a fee of around 20 million. You really like the look of this player, don't you, Steve?
Yeah, I do. He's I've got to know him since from when he was at Schalke. I started looking at him when he was there, and he didn't want to leave Schalke. Funny enough, but Barcelona dragged him away. And but yeah, excellent player. He'll do well for him. He really will do well. And just on the subject of Schalke, we were saying that the Osman Kabak talks has stalled with Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
They've the news that I'm getting now is that if Schalke sign Kaan Hayam, another, funny enough, Turkish centre back from Fortuna Düsseldorf, then that Osman Kabak will now go through with Spurs.
Oh, what? So what was the delay with Spurs then?
Sorry?
What was the delay with Spurs?
The delay with Spurs was over transfer talks and just basically money and just a bit of this and a bit of everything regarding Spurs, and it's just the way it is. But everything's been sorted out now. But the signing will only go through if they can, Osman Kabak's agreed that it will stay at Schalke, but they are in the process of trying to sign a new player because Osman Kabak is desperate to go to Spurs. So they're just waiting on Kaan Hayam from Fortuna Düsseldorf, who they're in talks with now. And as soon as that goes through, Osman Kabak could very well be a Spurs player.
Oh, so again, exclusives, updates. We've got them all, and we've got plenty more, people. Next up, Stuttgart are interested in Arsenal defender Socrates. The newly promoted team have just signed Mastropanov from Arsenal on a season-long loan, and they're potentially looking to bring in Socrates to take him off of Arsenal's hands. PSG are demanding €80 million plus Dembele for their striker Neymar in an attempt to Frenchify the squad. Now, this long ongoing romance with Neymar is getting a little bit boring.
Why would you go back?
Ages ago,
why would you go back if you're Neymar though? When you're seeing the mess that they're in.
Yeah, from what I heard ages ago, Barcelona ain't in any position to sign Neymar back with anything. And then only the other day, I was hearing that PSG are actually going to attempt to give him an extension on his deal. So that's dead in the water, I think. Ainsley Maitland-Niles looks like he could be on his way out of Arsenal. It seems like a bit of a shame now. I've made a bit of a U-turn on that. I thought it would have been good. But again, I go back to players who come through the rank and are actually at a level where they can be in your team. I think you've got to make a little bit more of an effort to keep them. Put your arm around their shoulder, have a few words. With the versatility that Ainsley Maitland-Niles has got, I think you'll be a player that you will actually miss. I mean, only yesterday he started as a left wing back, ended up in central midfield, and you know he can play right back, and that could have potentially been all in one game. So I think Arsenal need to have a little word with Ainsley Maitland-Niles and keep him. Alexis Sanchez is refusing to take a pay cut, so he's on his way back to Man United. Good luck there.
Good luck with that.
Arsenal are willing to meet the release clause of Sporting Lisbon wonder kid Jolson Fernandez. Jerome, you looked into this story ages ago. It seems to have come back up again. How truthful is it? €40 million seems a bit too much for Arsenal, considering we know they're not in a position to be spending that on, especially on a 17-year-old. What are we saying on that?
Yeah, on the face of it, it seems a bit unrealistic. But this his agent is Kia Joorabchian, who's obviously now got close links to Arsenal. But it's just the money. It's a lot of money, especially for a 17-year-old. And one of the sort of sources that broke the story, saying that Arsenal were interested in, then said that he was going to sign a new contract, and that hasn't happened yet. So I just think when it comes to it, I just can't see Arsenal paying that money for someone so young.
Yeah, it seems a bit far-fetched to me. The fact that this publication's come out and said that Arsenal willing to pay 40 million, I don't know where they got that from, because they're doing they're trying to work down the money on the Thomas Partey's release clause, which is like 45 million. It just doesn't ring true. It stinks of the agent might be trying to get a bit more money in that contract by saying that putting out in the paper that Arsenal would potentially be able to.
But just saying that, just quickly stand on Arsenal just for a second. People can take this how they want, but the Alexander Lacazette. I was asking someone or a couple of people about this extension that he's going to be signing onto his contract, and the person who I asked apparently said to me that Arsenal haven't offered him no extension. As far as he's concerned, he's never heard of it. He's not heard of nothing.
Do you see Arsenal offering an extension? Do you feel like they're not on the same wavelength? Do you feel like they're more likely to get rid?
Well, this person I trust. I mean, you know who it is. But I mean, the way he's been playing recently, if he continued that, you'd say yes, give him an extension. Do I trust Alexander Lacazette to be like that for after, like, more regular? I don't know. I don't know. So then I look at it. Would Arteta trust him? And again, I'm not sure that he would. So it does make me think about whether an extension would be offered. I'd like to think he'd be playing like the way he does at the moment, which is, he's a lot better than he has been, and they would sign an extension. But it's just the trust part of it with Alexander Lacazette. If we can get the Alexander Lacazette of Lyon, then I'm sure we'd all be quite happy for him to sign new extensions.
And I think it was something we said the other day was there was noise coming out that they're not too sure about his application and his consistency on when it comes to his work ethic on a daily basis in training. The noise is coming out that it could be 100% one day, and another day it's like 60. And if that is the case, that's a problem.
Would you extend his contract? Would you give him an extension?
Yes.
Would you give him one?
Yes.
Yes.
Off the back of what he's playing like now. Yeah.
Well, I suppose you've got. Well, I mean, that's only last 3 or 4 games, isn't it? Really? But over the last 6 months, you've got to look at
over the last 6 months. Over the last 6 months, I'm saying no. I'm saying I'm using this bit of form to sell him. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I'd be wary that as soon as you sign that contract that you'll be getting the Lacazette of old. But if you're talking about...
And his wages is massive, isn't it? £180,000 a week.
And this is what I've said for ages. Right now, it's make or break with Lacazette. If you give him a new deal or you sell him, he's got 2 years left in his contract. Now, you could be ultra smart and say, sign him up on a new deal anyway, and then just look to sell him. But Arsenal aren't going to do that. You've either got to sell or offer a new contract. It depends what you're going for.
If he's got 2 years left, wouldn't it be a good idea to go to Lacazette and say, right, look, prove to me that you can continue playing the way you are, and then at the end of next season, we'll sign you up for another 2 years or another 3 years.
I know you mean.
Let him prove to Arteta, I think.
Yeah.
Continue playing the way he is.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's a tough one. 2 years left in his deal. It starts to play in the favour of the player, though, doesn't it? What's this one? Chelsea are willing to pay 100 million for Jan Olbeck. I just can't see it. I saw this one the other day. 100 million. This is a keeper who's probably not far off of that value. He's an absolute beast. You're talking about one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. He reminds me like Petr Cech. Even the look of him is like Petr Cech. And he's an outstanding goalkeeper, but I just can't see anyone forking out €100 million for him. Barcelona have been offered. So Barcelona have offered Newcastle and Arsenal Philippe Coutinho. However, Arsenal have offered in talks with Barcelona with a deal for Guendouzi in a swap deal for Philippe Coutinho. Now, this is actually true. It is actually true. They are in talks, but the deal still doesn't make sense to me. Barcelona are losing out massively on money. Are Arsenal going to potentially take in a player who's on 200 grand a week or 180 grand a week? Are Arsenal in the position to do that? I don't feel like they are. Guendouzi swap deal for Coutinho. Simon, yay or nay?
No.
What's the reason? Quick one.
Because I would rather spend the money on Dani Ceballos than put Coutinho in the 10 or in the midfield 3.
That's quite a smart answer. Like, that's not saying like smart answer, but it's like a very sort of. That's not a very Arsenal answer. Usually they're looking for something new. It's like, nah, I've seen what he could do. I want something new.
Sign him. It's Coutinho. Sign the name.
Danny Ceballos one. I mean, it's a player who looks a completely different player. He looks like the Newcastle Danny Ceballos, not Danny Ceballos we had for about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Due to the fact he wasn't really getting consistent run of games. I'm going to put it down to that. We can't be harsh on him because with this consistent run, he's looking like a player. Steve, would you do that swap deal?
Oh,
it's a tough one.
Oh, it is. I get Simon's point with the fact that we've got Danny Ceballos there, and he's doing a good job in that position at the moment. And I like the relationship that Ceballos has got with Arteta, and obviously Coutinho is going to want a lot of money when he comes here. Mm-hmm. Would I? It's a very close one, but I would just because of the fact that we've got Danny Ceballos here. If he stays and he's playing the way he's playing, because that's all we can go by, I'd say no.
You're like, I'd say no. What?
No.
What?
No.
He's still thinking about it.
I'd like us to be Man City and say yes, but we're not Man City. We'll have him. We can swap over one each week, but that's not going to happen, is it? We know that. We know that ain't going to happen. And we don't want to start going back to like the Gazida stage where we start having players on silly wages. Because the Aubameyang he'll sign. He's going to be on massive wages.
Still got
to bring Coutinho in. Coutinho's on to pay massive wages to an if or a but, and he maybe or he could do is no.
It's like Ozil for me.
We finally got his answer. It's a no. It's a solid no. Jerome, you doing that swap deal?
Well, if it's a straight swap and there's no money involved?
Straight swap. I think the talk was plus 10 million, but we'll just say for argument's sake, straight swap. Because for me, it's not any sort of money in terms of what Arsenal are paying that I'm bothered about. I feel like it's a strain on the wage, and when you're talking about the wage, that's a lot of money a year. That's a player. His wage for a year is a signing.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, he's. I mean, bear with. He's such an excellent player, though.
Yeah, I know.
And he doesn't. I know. Steve mentioned about Ceballos, but I don't think he would play like how Ceballos plays in the midfield too. He'd probably play a bit more attacking, maybe from the left, like where Aubameyang's playing at the moment. If I had to make,
this is what the board's doing. Arteta's like, I want him, and they're like, oh, he's so good, but he's so expensive.
If we don't back you, we're going to get slaughtered.
I can't make a decision, Kieran. Sorry, mate. Can't do it.
You can't do that. I mean, I'm not making a decision. You put me on the spot, mate.
If Coutinho comes in, I mean, what would he want, and what would he? And then what is Ceballos on now? You can't have a massive gap between those two. I know what Jerome's saying, and he's right that they do play in slightly different positions, but they still can do the same type of thing on the football pitch. And if there's a massive wage difference between Ceballos and Coutinho when he comes to the club, then I don't think that's good for the club. I don't think it's good for the morale for the players.
You're right, Steve. It don't work. And if you want evidence of the old knocking on the manager's door, it only happened at Chelsea recently. The reports came out that Timo Werner was on something like 150 grand a week. 2 days later, Tammy Abraham turns around, says, "I want double my money." I want 120 grand a week. And that didn't come out of nowhere. That came out because reports came out of what Timo Werner's earning. That's what happens. And if there's a massive gap in earnings in a player who's meant to be competition, then it says a lot for that player's position in the team. If you're on 60 grand a week and the geezer who's meant to be your competition, not your backup, your competition is on double what you're earning, that says to you that it's not competition, he's the starter. Now, if you want me to be competition, you've got to pay me competition money. And that's what happens. Players want more money. It would have happened with Mesut Ozil. Mesut Ozil's on 350 grand a week. I'm not asking for that, but what I'm asking for is 200 a week, boss. And that's how it works. That's how life works. So, it's a dangerous game, but you're talking about a quality player and you're getting rid of pain in the backside off your books. Dog agrees. So I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a good thing I'm just the host because I'm not even going to answer this question like Jerome. Coming up to the last one. Obafemi Martins just signed Chinese Super League side Shanghai Shunhua. Man City are linked to Martinez of Inter Milan. No, stop papers. He signed an agreement with Barcelona. He also came out and said he'd only sign for Barcelona and Real Madrid. So, see you later. And Barcelona are selling players just to get him in. This is why you're seeing all these links to Barcelona players. Liverpool have signed an agreement with Thiago Alcantara, but the deal is not done, people. Please stop inboxing me saying, Alcantara, done deal, mate. Done deal. Liverpool going to smash it. Told you we're going to buy it. They haven't bought anything. They've not bought anything. Liverpool are offering 18 million. Bayern Munich are asking for 36. There's a big, massive gap. So until that's happened, it don't matter. Like you agreed terms with Timo Werner in principle. It may not have been on paper, but it was in principle. You said he was going to come, and you couldn't. You didn't want to pay the money. So you're doing what you did with Werner, and I've got a feeling it's going to work out the same way as it did with Werner. Newcastle in early discussions with Marseille over defender Bouna Sarr. Man City. Yeah, this was an exclusive of the transfer exchange. You put it on the Twitter page the other day and on the Instagram. Man City have maybe hijacking Roma's deal for Jan Vertonghen. Vincent Kompany has personally had a word with Pep Guardiola to sign the Belgium international Jan Vertonghen. Steve, have you got any more on that?
You said it all there, mate. You said it all. It was simple as that. Company was over having a little meet up with his friends. I found out since coming to the ground. You even see a picture in the newspaper, which I see afterwards. After I told you this, and he had his mask on inside the Etihad, so which made it even more truer. But yeah, it's something that Pep seems to like doing, doesn't he? He seems to like hijacking people's deals, doesn't he? Or
playing around. If he can wind up someone, he'd do it. But this one makes sense. Man City are after two defenders. They're after a big name defender or the big defender, and they're after a backup defender. They're willing to pay 25 million. But if they can get the player on a free, then why not? So it makes sense. The fact that Steve's telling me that Vincent Kompany had a word with Pep Guardiola, it's true. People, it's true. It's an exclusive. Man City could potentially be trying to get Jan Vertonghen. You'll see it in the papers in a few days, trust me, if you haven't already. Steve, can we have a Weston McKennie update?
Weston McKennie's very, very quiet at the moment.
Very both quiet. Everton and Tottenham, wasn't it?
I can't. Yep, he was Everton. He still wants to leave. But as I say, we can't give you information if we can't. There's nothing there to add to it at the moment. Weston McKennie wants to leave Schalke. That's guaranteed. He wants to come to the Premiership. At the moment, Everton is the place he wants to go. and that's where we are at the moment. So as soon as we know anything more than that, you'll be the first to know.
Yeah. We've got good ties in Germany, so we're always keeping on the lookout. As soon as a player in Germany comes up, we're straight to our sources asking about. QPR winger Bright Oshley Samuels is on his way to Club Brugge. £4.75 million deal was agreed. He had his medical yesterday. His coach saying that he trained with the team, and the deal is not done, but it's in advanced stages, so that'll be done. It says Leicester and West Brom are trying to hijack the deal, but that's just over dramatic paper talk. He's on his way to Club Brugge. Chris Basham is being linked with Newcastle. The Sheffield United defender has had a great season so far this season, and he's been linked with a move to the Tyne. And finally, Jeremy Doku spoke about nearly signing for Liverpool. This is only released a couple of days ago, but our scout Jerome found that out a long time ago when he was telling you about this player. Jeremy Doku was talking about how Jurgen Klopp had earmarked him as a replacement for Sadio Mane, and that he turned around and decided to stay based on the advice of Romelu Lukaku, who said to him, "You'll be better off coming through the ranks and coming through in Belgium than you would in the youth ranks at England." Whew, what a show. Well done, boys. Thank you very much. Always coming with top information that you may have heard already, you may not have heard, but if you want to hear it all in one spot, come and watch the Transfer Exchange show. I would say put aside an hour, but once again, we've gone over to the time slot that we did for the last 3 weeks. I'm sorry, people, but we're just filled with information, bursting. Like this book, this will be filled up in a couple of weeks because it's just information overload every day, digging. I wanted to give a little shout out to a few people who gave us some really nice messages in Twitter after some people tried to shout us down. What's his name? Steve, the Everton fan, wasn't it? Thank you very much. Max, always supporting. Thank you very much. Dre gave us a little shout the other day. Thank you very much. Jamie Brown, Tottenham man, always giving a retweet. Loving it, loving the support. Thank you very much to anyone else who have missed out. These were just names I saw recently, the last couple of days. Of course, thank you to the scouts at the top there. It's the chef. Thank you very much.
Cheers, everyone.
On the bottom left, it's the marksman. He's on target today. Thank you very much, Jerome.
Cheers, boys. I'm gonna spend my week thinking about this Coutinho.
You know what? Next week I'm gonna be like, "How you doing, Jerome?" He's gonna go, "No, I don't want Coutinho."
That's going up on the advert for the show next week. Stay tuned for Jerome's.
Yeah, at the end of this one, it's like, "To be continued." God. And of course, he's here every week giving us the most information, underground information. We call him the man with the sauces, HP Ketchup and Déjeuner. It's the chief scout. It's Steve K. Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
And thank you to the comment section that's been popping off tonight. All right, Football Brownie, Realist 999, Rita Bix. Who's that? Melvin, of course, there every week without fail. You've got the comment section popping. Thank you very much for watching. I'd like to say peace out.
My West Ham fans are very lucky, my friends, that you survived, because I had given you some plenty stick. I'll tell you, you survived it.
I told Steve, they're basically sad. They can't have West Ham in there. He was like, I said, look, I'm trying to save you from getting dug out for the next 3 weeks. Every time you speak about West Ham, you've got nothing nice to say about them. But we will be speaking about West Ham soon. Don't worry about that. We'll be speaking about what they need to stay up, what they need to go forward. Because right now it's a bit of a mixed bag, like a really bad mixed bag. But anyway, we move on. Thank you very much, people. Thank you very much. Like, share, subscribe. It's the first time I say it tonight. It's awful. Awful. Obviously, don't forget to follow these guys. And stay safe. Well, peace out. Stay safe. And wash your hands, of course.